Are there any alternatives to an engineering degree? I'm going into my senior high school year and taking community colleges classes this year to get some of the fluff out of the way. The problem is I don't want to waste all my time in all these BS classes. I thought getting out of high school would mean I didn't have to take art, history, English, and all the other electives you take because you have to fluff out your schedule. My dad's an EE and probably could get me an internship. The degrees I'm most interested in are computer and electrical. So, do you need an engineering degree to become a coder? No. You can go to a coding boot camp if you want to be a computer scientist, or I don't know what the term is, but if you want to work in software, yeah, go to a coding boot camp. You learn how to code. You won't get maybe the experience on architecture, and you won't get to exercise the problem solving skills. But yeah, you could go to a coding boot camp and work in computer. Electrical engineer? No, you couldn't be an electrical engineer without an engineering degree. You could become an electrical drafter. You could take drafting classes. Electrical designer, where you're doing electrical plans, but you're working under an engineer. Or you can become like an electrician, where you're out in the field, and you can make great money as an electrician. But no, you can't become an electrical engineer without an electrical engineering degree. Now, let's break down the rest of this. My dad's an EE and could probably get me an internship. Probably not. Unless he owns the company, if you don't have an electrical engineering degree, unless he's super high up in the company and has profit and loss impacts, then probably not. Especially not without an engineering degree. No, I know somebody whose parent was an officer at a major electronics company, and they couldn't even get their own kid that was in engineering school an engineering internship. An officer of a company couldn't get their kid an internship. So just because your dad's an engineer doesn't mean he'll get you an engineering internship, especially if you don't have the experience. Unless it's like a super small company, then maybe. But let's talk about the fluff. My favorite class I took in college was environmental economics. I learned about tax abatements. I learned about I learned about so many different things. But the cool thing about my environmental economics class is now that I work in the energy industry, I learned about the way that the government structures all the incentives that result in the investments in critical energy infrastructure that are happening now, like the scrubber emissions reduction procedures, our big push for natural gas, all that kind of stuff. I learned about in my environmental economics class. I took a class on religion, and my class that I took on Asian religions has helped me be a more well-rounded person and be able to better identify with and be a better coworker to my employees that may practice those religions. I wouldn't discount the fluff stuff as you've described it. I am really thankful that I had a more liberal arts education whenever it came to my engineering education, because it made me a more well-rounded and thoughtful person, and in turn it's made me a better coworker and more understanding teammate. So I think that you need to ditch your mentality. I had the same mentality coming out of high school, but I'm so grateful that my college education had me take classes in a lot of different things that weren't just technical engineering classes. Those classes generally weren't even my easiest classes. My Asian religions class was probably one of the toughest class I took in all of college. Shout out to Dr. Nadeau. But yeah, I mean, come on, man. If you want to become an engineer, go ahead and get an engineering degree, or woman. But yeah, go get an engineering degree, and you'll be fine. You push through that coursework, and you'll become a more well-rounded and better engineer because of it. So don't discount the general education classes. They exist for a reason, and that growth you'll experience there will help you grow. And if you took an English class, maybe you learn how to spell the degrees I'm most interested in our computer and electrical. No, it's or. Just kidding. It's not or, it's R. And my dad's an EE and probably could get me an internship. Well, your dad would have a better time helping you get an internship if you knew how to write your own cover letter. So, boom roasted. But no, just get an engineering degree. You'll be fine. Thanks for watching this segment of the Engineering Success Podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All those things really help me out. They boost me up in the YouTube algorithm, and they'll help other people see this great content. Make sure to recommend the podcast to your friends. You can listen to it on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcast content from. And make sure you leave me 5-star reviews, like all my videos, and consider subscribing on Patreon or Anchor. All those things help me out, and I really appreciate it. Catch you in the next one.